Hi, and welcome to Noble Character Crafts. My name is Amy, and I'm coming to you from eastern Nebraska, where I live with my husband and our 5 children. Today is Friday, December 6th, 2024. A huge welcome to any new or returning viewers. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you really enjoyed this episode. This is a channel all about my crafty life, and today I have knitting and crocheting to share with you all. I will have links to the places that you can find me in the description box below, as well as the show notes for this episode. I am hosting a year-long make-along on Instagram called the Make 9 2024 Mal, and that's for you to join in the Make 9 challenge, where you can choose 9 projects that you would like to work on throughout the year and post a grid of those projects that you would like to work on. And then anytime that you post a picture of one of your works in progress or one of your finished objects, you will be entered to win a prize, which I draw periodically throughout the year. This is just a participatory make-along, so just because we're at the end of the year does not mean that it's too late to join in. If you have 9 projects that you're working on right now, or maybe some Christmas presents that you're still hoping to finish up before the end of the year or something like that, you can still join in at any time, really. It's just for fun to join in on the make-along. But I will plan on doing this make-along again in 2025. So if you want to just start planning ahead for next year as well, you could certainly do that. I have a few prizes to give away today, though. All of these prizes, all of the yarn prizes were gifted to me by a viewer of this channel named Jacqueline. And then I've also included a little charm along with each prize, and those were all donated to me by a viewer of this channel named Mickey. So thank you to Jacqueline and Mickey for your generosity. And the prizes that I have to give away are, the first prize is 2 hanks of yarn from A Girl and Her Wool in these beautiful colors. The first one is 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon base, fingering weight, and it's a 100-gram hank, and the colorway is called Mystic. And the second one is on the same base, and the colorway is called Speckled Orchid, and on here you can see the progress keeper that I'm including with this prize, which is a little stocking cap. And the winner of this prize is Ashley at My Handmade Day. Congratulations to you, Ashley. For you and all of the winners, if you can please just get in contact with me through direct message on Instagram. Let me know your mailing information, and I will be happy to get these prizes off in the mail to you as soon as possible. The second prize are these. The first is another smaller hank of yarn from A Girl and Her Wool. This is an 80-gram hank of yarn, but it's the same base, 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon, and the colorway is an October 2022 mystery skein. And then the next part of the prize is a sock set from Buxom Cat Knits. This is on a 80% superwash merino, 20% nylon base, a total of 115 grams. The color, it's the Sansi Sock 3-ply base is what it's called, and the colorway is called Marshmallow Christmas. And I've included a little cat in a sweater charm or progress keeper for this prize. So the winner of these goodies is Christy at Christy's Art Corner on Instagram. Congratulations to you. The next prize are these beautiful yarns. The first one is by Knit Style Yarns. It is on a 75% superwash merino, 25%. I think there's a typo. It says 20% nylon, but I bet it's meaning to say 25% nylon. Base, 100 grams. The colorway is called Garden Sunset. And also a skein of yarn or hank of yarn from Expression Fiber Arts. And this is, the colorway I believe is called Laguna. It is superwash merino silk, pearlescent fingering, 550 yards. That's quite a bit of yardage. I think that's all the information I have on that one, but it's a beautiful color. And then I have a little reindeer progress keeper on that one. And the winner of these is Deborah at Knitcompoop. That is a funny name. And congratulations to you, Deborah. The next prize are these yarns. This is by Gypsy Soul Fibers. It is on a 75% superwash merino, 25% nylon base. The colorway is called Daffodils. Fingering weight again. And the other hank is not labeled. It's a mystery one, but I'm very confident that it is a sock yarn. It looks and feels like a sock yarn to me. And I've included a cute little Christmas tree charm on this one. The winner of these yarns is Heather at Almost Hippie Knitter on Instagram. Congratulations to you. And the last prize are these yarns. This is by Shoppel. It is a gradient. It is 100 grams, 260 meters. There's just a color number 2198. And it is 100% virgin wool. And also a hank of spun right round merino worsted 100% superwash merino yarn, 218 yards. The colorway is called Caterpillar. And another Christmas tree progress keeper on this one. And the winner of these is Belinda at NanaGD2 on Instagram. Congratulations to you as well. Thank you so much to everybody who has continued to be participating in the Make 9 2024 mail throughout the year. And congratulations to you winners. I have a few finished objects to share with you all today. The first one I am wearing. I'm so happy that I was able to finish the last project from my personal Make 9 board. This was a little bit of a modification because I had originally put a different V-neck cardigan on my board that I was hoping to knit, but when I went to go purchase it, it was not available to purchase. So I switched out my plans and instead decided to knit a very heavily modified version of the Close to Me cardigan by Lily Kate France. I followed her directions for this pattern when I started. So the top section of this cardigan is very much her pattern, and I could never have made this without her instructions for the beautiful, well, there's short rows in the back. It starts at the top of the neck, and then there's this garter stitch panel on the shoulders, and there's this beautiful shoulder shaping in the sleeve cap area. So I followed her instructions for all of that part. But after that part, I kind of did my own thing. So after I joined everything into one piece, then I went on to knit the sleeves. And I did not include any sleeve decreases at all. I just knit the sleeves straight. And then I did not include the garter stitch detail that she has in the cuffs of the sleeves. I just did a rapid decrease and then knit, I think 14 rounds of garter stitch on the cuffs. And then for the body of the cardigan, I just knit that straight. I knit it until it was 9.5 inches under the arm before I did, again, just a garter stitch hem. She also has a garter stitch detail included on the sides of the cardigan where it kind of comes up at the sides into a peak of sorts at the sides, and I did not do that. I just knit it straight and then just did a plain garter stitch hem. I'll stand up in a little bit so you can see that better. And then for the button bands, those are supposed to be double knit, and I decided just to do a garter stitch button band as well, just for simplicity. I know a double knit button band looks really nice and tailored, but I just wanted to do a garter stitch because it's easier and all of the other hems were done with garter stitch. So I just thought it would work and I'm happy with how it turned out. So I started this cardigan on September 25th and I finished it on November 23rd. I knit this using Knit Picks Wool of the Andes worsted weight in the Cranberry colorway, which is 100% Peruvian Highland wool. And I held it together with Knit Picks Aloft, also in the Cranberry colorway, and that is a lace weight 72% Super Kid mohair, 28% silk yarn. I knit size 2. I used US 7 4.5 millimeter needles for the majority of the cardigan. I did use US 4 3.5 millimeters for all of the garter stitch sections, however. Let's see. For the button band, I did pick up the stitches as she recommended, except around the back of the neck. I just picked up each stitch. She has different directions, but I just picked up each stitch around the neck line. And I ended up knitting 12 rows in garter stitch. And I added 6 buttonholes, just doing a simple yarn over, knit 2 together to make a yarn or to make a buttonhole. I did that on the 7th row. I think that's it. I'm really happy with how it turned out, so I'm very pleased that it worked out. And even though I always make a lot of modifications, it seems, when I'm knitting a project, so this was no different in that respect. But yeah, I just am really happy with how it turned out. And I think it's great timing that I finished this red sweater in time for the holidays. So I think that's fun as well. So I'll stand up so you can see it a little bit better. Or I'll kneel. I always forget that when I stand up and my head's cut off. Oh, I forgot to close my closet. I'm gonna go do that really quick. Not that that really matters, but I like it closed. Okay, so here you can see where it hits. So this is my waist right here. So it just falls a little bit below my natural waistline. I don't know, here's my hip bone, so it's a little bit above my hips, I guess. Except I guess I'm kind of making it come up. When I just am naturally letting it lay, it hits right at the hip line. So yeah, I'm just really happy with how it turned out. I'm happy with the fit of it. I'm happy with the garter stitch button band. I think it's laying pretty well. Oh, I just had these plastic brown colored buttons in my collection. I thought they worked well. It's pretty basic. There's not a ton. You know, it's just a plain stockinette cardigan for the most part, except for the few little garter stitch sections, which I love. And I made it more simple than what she has. Like I said, there's more details in the original pattern that I've just taken out. But I think it'll be a great sweater to have in my collection, and I can wear it open as well, of course. But I'll probably wear it closed most often, I would imagine. But it works great open as well. So I'm very happy with it. I think that's all. I feel like I should say more about it, but I think that is all I can think of. I don't always get all of my Make 9 projects done each year, so I'm really excited that I was able to get them done this year. Not that it really matters, but it's just, you know, fun to set a goal and then be able to actually achieve it. My next finished object are these beautiful socks that I was able to knit up for myself. I love how they turned out. I think they're so cute. These were knit out of some gifted yarn to me by a friend of mine named Michelle. These are knit out of West Yorkshire Spinners Signature 4-ply. The main color is on the sparkle base, which is 75% wool, 23% nylon, and 2% polyester in the Yuletide colorway. And the coordinating color is on the just Signature 4-ply base, which is 75% wool, 25% nylon in the Evergreen colorway. I started these on November 19th and finished them on December 3rd. I cast on 60 stitches, did 2x1 ribbing for 20 rounds. Knit plain stockinette. I don't know if I counted, did I? 62 rounds for the leg. and then did slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset. I did add the slip stitch detail, which I normally do, to the ball of the foot, where I typically wear holes in my socks most quickly. So at the end of the sock here, before I do my toe decreases for the last 30 rounds, I do a slip one, knit one pattern for only the bottom stitches of the ball of my foot. And then the next round, I knit all of those stitches. So it's very similar to a heel flap. And I just repeat those 2 rounds. Slip one, knit one across the bottom of the stitches on the sock, and then knit 1 row. And I repeat those 2 rows for a total of 30 rows before I do my toe decreases. I used US 2mm needles for these. And I loved knitting them, and I'm very, very happy to have these in my Christmas sock collection. I think they're so fun. Thanks again, Michelle, for gifting me this yarn. I really loved working with it so much. And I also was able to finish the socks that I was knitting for my husband that I shared on my last episode, but he's already started wearing them because he needed a pair. He was looking for a pair of knitted socks maybe a week ago or something, shortly after I finished them. And I said, well, I've made you a new pair. You can take those. So he's already started wearing them. So I'll just insert a picture of the finished socks that I made for my husband. I started these on November 19th and finished them on November 26th. I used lots of scraps of Patons Kroy socks yarn. I cast on 56 stitches using US 1.5, 2.5 millimeter needles. I did 2x2 ribbing for 12 rounds, and then just did stockinette for 20 rounds on the leg before I did the slip stitch, heel flap, and gusset on his as well. And then I did about 80 rounds for the foot before doing the toe decreases. I have knit him other socks using Patons Kroy yarn before, so I was confident that these would fit him, and they do fit him. But as soon as he put them on, he said, I've always made him shorty socks because typically that's what he liked. Well, that's what I thought he liked to wear. He just wears his socks at night, after he showers and gets his pajamas on. Then he puts the socks on that I've knitted for him and wears them more like house slippers. He doesn't usually wear them outside at all. Anyway, he said, could you make my socks a little bit longer next time? And I said, oh, I thought you liked shorty socks. He goes, well, I would like them a little bit longer next time. I was like, oh, okay. I always thought he wanted shorter socks. Good to know. So anyway, I've made him another pair already. So these worked up really quickly, and I did make them a little bit longer, quite a bit longer. So these I made using DK weight yarn. So that's how I was able to work these up so quickly. I cast on, 48 stitches using US 3.25 millimeter needles. The yarn that I used for these is Louisa Harding Cassia. The dark green color is called Pine, and the blue color is called Silver. Those are both the same base, this green and blue. And those are 75% superwash wool, 25% nylon. And the third color is Yarn Bee Must Be Merino in the olive colorway. That's 50% merino, 25% acrylic, and 25% nylon. So I cast on 48 stitches. I did 2x2 ribbing for 15 rounds. And then I did 15 rounds for each color stripe as well. And used the pine color for the heels, cuffs, and toes. And then just repeated the olive, pine, silver for the stripes. I did a slip stitch heel flap again, but this time I included a slip stitch detail for the gusset decreases as well. So even for the heel turn, I continue doing the slip stitch that I did throughout the heel flap. so that hopefully my husband will have a little bit more reinforcement in the heel of his socks, because that's where he tends to wear holes in his socks most quickly. So this is an experiment on his socks, but I just continue doing that slip stitch detail on the bottom of his sock throughout the gusset decreases. Once I finished the gusset decreases, then I just did plain stockinette. I think they turned out super cute. I really love how they turned out, and I hope he will like them. I'm excited to have him try them on and see how he likes the length and so forth. I think they're so fun. And they were just so quick to work up. So I started these on November 30th, and I just finished them today, December 6th. Oh, I've also finished the classic ribbed hat that I was working on the last episode. This is a free pattern on the Purl Soho website. There is a designer for this hat. I think it's Jake Canton. Oh, I think I wrote it down somewhere because this is not the first time. Yes, Jake Canton is the name of the designer for this pattern. I started this hat on November 2nd and finished it December 1st, so it took me almost a month to make it. It was kind of just an easy project that I had on the go for a long time, so I wasn't working on it very consistently. This is knit from the cuff up to the crown. I made the adult medium size. I held 2 fingering weight yarns together to make a DK weight, which is what the pattern calls for. I made the adult medium size, and I held together Yarn Bee Authentic Hand Dyed in the Palm Hibiscus colorway, along with a fingering weight yarn that I had dyed myself in a burgundy color or wine color. And I really like how those two colors worked up together. I knit it for a little bit longer than what the pattern recommends for this adult medium size. It calls for you to knit this 1x1 ribbing, which is what it all is all in 1x1 ribbing, until the hat measures 8¼ inches, but I went to 9 inches before I did the crown decreases. As I got into the crown decreases, I could tell I was starting to run out of the Palm Hibiscus colorway. And so I started just holding the wine colored yarn with itself, basically. And so you can kind of tell that the color changes a little bit in the crown. It gets a little more solid of the burgundy wine color at the crown here. But I think it works. And I used up every last bit of that Palm Hibiscus. I was kind of alternating. So I would knit 1 round with the Palm Hibiscus, and then I'd go 1 or 2 rounds with just the burgundy color together. And I kept switching so that I could continue to carry that Palm Hibiscus as far up through the hat as I could. So I think it turned out great. And it fits so nicely. It looks small because of the ribbing, but it fits really nicely. I love the fit of it. I think I'm going to be adding this to my gift box. Although my friend Eva is the one who purchased this Palm Hibiscus colorway, and I knit her a shawl using the Palm Hibiscus color, and she said just use up the leftovers. But Eva, if you would like this hat, you can certainly have this hat. Let me know if you would like it. It is really nice and cozy. I'd love for you to have it if you would like it. Otherwise, I'll just add it to my gift collection and give it to someone down the road. I really like how it turned out. I don't know. I love the finished product, but I wasn't really a huge fan of knitting the pattern. I just wasn't. It took me almost a month to knit a hat, which is kind of silly that it took that long. I just wasn't gravitating toward it. It seemed like it took forever for it to grow. But of course I wasn't working on it very consistently, so that's why. I don't think I'll be really quick to knit this hat again, even though I love the finished product. I didn't love the process of making it as much as just plain stockinette hats. So we'll see if I come back to that pattern ever again. I think that is all of my finished objects, and I only have 3 works in progress to share with you all, and I haven't made a ton of progress on any of those works in progress, so I think I'll be pretty quick. The first one is just a quick update on my Scrappy Hexi blanket that I am working on. I'm just going to go over this really quickly because I've been working on this project since May, and I think I've shown it on every single episode since May, so if you've watched, you're sick of me talking about it. Anyway, last time I shared all the new hexagons that I had added in, and I've only added this one more motif to the blanket. I did have quite a bit of border hexagons to add on to this one, and anyway, so I'm just working on this. I will link to the tutorial that I am using for this. I'm using all fingering weight yarn and a C 2.75 millimeter hook. But I haven't made a ton of progress on this one, but I will continue working on it. I'm not putting it aside. I'm gonna continue working on it. I want to get it done as quickly as possible, but it's not a rush either. I've also made just a little bit of progress on the crocheted blanket that I shared with you last time using some Lion brand mandala yarn. This is from a book by Leisure Arts that I own called A Year of Afghans 1997. It is a design by a lady named Carole Pryor, which I didn't realize until I was editing my last video. I went and tried to search for the pattern, and I found it on Ravelry, and it's listed. I didn't write the other name of it, but I'll put it here. So in my book, this blanket is called Handsome Ripple, but it has a different name on Ravelry, but it is available for purchase on Ravelry. And I've just made a little bit of progress on this one. Here, I'll hold it this way. Maybe that'll be easier. So there is a progress keeper, a really, really cute progress keeper that my cousin Allie made for me. And that is marking where I was last time I recorded. And I have just made a few rows of progress. I am using 2 colorways of Lion brand mandala yarn that I was gifted by a viewer of this channel, and this is the first colorway I used. It's called Warlock. It is DK weight 100% acrylic yarn, and the other colorway is called Brownie, and here's another cake of that so you can see the different colors in those 2 cakes. I started with the Warlock colorway and worked through the entire one whole cake of that, and a cake is 150 grams. So I did all of that, and then where there is a white stripe right here, that is where the brownie color started, and so I'm still working through that brownie color. I started this on November 9th. I'm using an H 5mm hook. I did chain 20 extra stitches when I started this blanket because the original pattern calls for you to use worsted weight yarn, and since I'm using DK weight yarn, I was afraid it'd be a little bit too small. So I wanted to add a little bit of width, and it's turned out to be the same measurement as the pattern calls for, since I added a few extra stitches, but even though I'm using thinner yarn. I think that's it for that one. And my last work in progress is being held in a bag that I sewed myself. And these are the Colorwork Cuff Club socks for the month of November, December, for the month of December, which is a pattern that is designed by Summer Lee. So I've been joining in on this Colorwork Cuff Club since August when she started, and I have continued to enjoy working on these Colorwork Cuff Club socks. For the month of December, she has come out with technically 4 charts, but really it's just 2 charts, and you can choose to add snow or no snow. The first chart has houses as the color work, and that's super cute. I love the looks of it, but I decided to go with the Christmas tree pattern, or, you know, evergreen tree pattern. I wanted it to be a little bit more simple. So the house chart, for some of the rows, you have to have 4 colors. So you're holding 4 colors for some of the rows, and some of the rows there's 3 colors, but I don't know. They're super, super cute, these houses, but I just wasn't feeling up to it. I wanted something more simple. And I did not include the snow either because I am using tweed yarn, and so it kind of has its own little snowy flecks in it. I'm tangled right now, but that's okay. I'll get it sorted out. I always knit my socks 2 at a time, and so that does come with a bit of tangling once in a while, but it'll be fine. I cast on 60 stitches using US 2mm needles. I did 12 rounds of 2x1 ribbing. And then I just realized after I finished my Colorwork chart that I went back and looked at her sock sample, and she has more stockinette before she did her, more space between her cuff and her Colorwork. She has like extra rounds above her Colorwork. And I guess I just didn't read the pattern very clearly. I've just kind of gotten into a routine now making these Colorwork Cuff Club socks that after I do the ribbing, then I just knit, I go right into the chart basically. And I think there were 4 rounds of plain stockinette shown on the chart, maybe where you could start the snowflake patterning if you were doing that. And maybe she had said to knit more rows before you start the Colorwork chart, but I didn't. It's fine though. Anyway, after the 12 rounds of ribbing, then I increased my stitches to 72 stitches, and I changed my needle size from US 2mm to 3mm needles, which are 2.5, US 2.5, 3mm needles. And those are 9-inch circulars. I knit those, just the Colorwork section, I knit on the 9-inch circulars. And the change in my stitch count and the change in my needle size really helps me to get a loose gauge on the Colorwork section. So anyway, I just did these plain trees, which I think is super sweet. I love how they turned out. And I like it in the tweed because I think it just adds to it. The colorways I used are both Knit Picks Stroll Tweed. The main color is called Barn Door Heather. Here it is. I do have a code that you can use to get 15% off any of your orders from Knit Picks because I am an ambassador for Knit Picks, but it just means that I have a code to share with you. So you can use this at checkout to receive 15% off your order at Knit Picks if you would like. This is fingering weight yarn, 65% fine superwash merino wool, 25% nylon, and 10% Donegal tweed. And then the contrast color for the trees that I used is called Dill Heather. And I've used this colorway, I think this is the 3rd Colorwork Cuff Club socks that I've used this Dill Heather colorway in. So I don't have a lot left, but it's been fun to be able to use that so often. So after I got done with the Colorwork section, then I reduced my stitches back down to 60 stitches, and I switched back to knitting on 2 at a time magic loop and back to my US 2mm needles. So I'll just do plain stockinette for the rest of these socks. They'll be nice and simple and easy to have on the go. So those are all of my works in progress. I did receive something in the mail from my cousin Allie that I would like to share with you. So Allie contacted me, I think it was probably in November sometime, and just asked if I would be interested in doing a swap for Christmas with her. And I was really excited to do that. So I think she had originally asked if I wanted to swap like we could make up an advent calendar for each other, but I wasn't really sure if I had enough mini skeins to make up an advent calendar for her. But I was able to collect enough goodies to send her way, both yarn and things that are probably, most of them I think were knitting related. For example, I know I sent her a notebook and some pens and different things like that that I thought would be fun for her to have. And I was able to gather up enough goodies so that I could wrap each of them and she could have an advent calendar, one package to open up each day throughout the month of December. So I didn't think I would be able to put that together, but it really came together pretty easily. And I was so excited to send that off to her, and she's been enjoying opening up her gifts. And then she sent me this. I just love this basket so much. I have wanted a basket like this for so long, but I've just always looked admiringly at them and never purchased one. But I love this so much. And then inside, look at that. They're not wrapped up, so I get to see all of the wonderful, beautiful yarn in there already. But she included these. Oh, I just am so excited about this main yarn that she sent me. 3 skeins of this gorgeous Mad Tosh yarn. This color is just so stunning. I think I want to try to make a cardigan out of these. I think it should be enough. Let me see. Are they? Yeah, they're all 100 grams. They're 100% superwash merino. And the color, I don't know what the color is. I didn't grab my glasses. They're fingering weight. Tosh Merino Light. Why wouldn't they have a color on them, I wonder? Doesn't Mad Tosh usually put a color on there? I don't see a color at all. I don't know, but it's gorgeous. It's so gorgeous. Oh, I love it so much. So I really want to try to find a pattern that would work to make these into a cardigan. I'm sure I could find one that would work. And then I'm just supposed to grab out a yarn every day for my Advent. And there's so many beautiful minis in here. So many. I just love them so much. So thank you, Allie. I just wanted to share what she sent my way because I'm so excited about these lovely goodies. Thank you so much, Allie. I appreciate your generosity so much, and I hope you're enjoying your Advent. So that is all that I have to share with you all today. I hope that you enjoyed seeing the things that I've been working on, and I hope that you're really enjoying the things that you're working on as well. Thank you so much for joining me. Take care. Bye-bye.